Hello, good afternoon. I'm Benoît Guerin. I'm a freelance consultant, and for the second time, I have undertaken the performance review of the Long Distance Advisory Council. So basically, the Long Distance Advisory Council was requesting to evaluate to what extent the past recommendation that have been made in the previous performance review have been achieved, look at the internal bodies, identify good practices of the LDAC, so both internally but also look at the other advisory council in Europe. And eventually, I've tried to move to a proposal for a multi-annual work plan for the LDAC. So, in a nutshell, I have been able to notice that the LDAC has achieved many of the recommendations that have been made in the past in the first performance reviews on different aspects. Just to underline a few of them, I think it is really appreciated and in the line of the EU regulation to have balanced the responsibilities within the LDAC between the fishing sector and the NGOs, but also between male and female. I also noticed that the LDAC is more and more working through focus groups that are able to develop a much more technical work in advance of working groups and go really in depth of the issues. And also I noticed that the LDAC is really coordinating very efficiently internally through a coordination meeting, gathering chairs and vice chairs of the working group. So, I mean, overall, the results and the performance of the LDAC is really satisfactory. I have finally underlined a few recommendations, as, for example, gathering more field evidence or trying to work on scientific data collection. Also, I think that the recommendation from the LDAC could be could be a bit more specified and look at actionable points for the managers, in particular for the European Commission. I think that I have noticed that the LDAC is almost fully in coherence with the objectives of the CFP, and in particular the objectives of course of the external dimension of the CFP. It is interesting to notice that the LDAC is not only producing advice, but is first representing almost exhaustively the different interests of the the EU long-distance water fleet. It is not only producing advices, but facilitating dialogue between its members and the partners and decision makers, as the European Commission, the scientists. I think that also the LDAC has contributed to a general recognition of what is the external dimension of the common fisheries policy. And last but not least, LDAC has built partnerships with non-EU actors that facilitate its action and, I would say, contributes to the EU ocean diplomacy. Eventually, I also noticed that the LDAC keeps insisting on some key issues for the external dimension of the CFP, as, for example, the coherence of the different EU policies, the promotion of a level playing field, and also the recognition and transparency of a joint venture. And I think that around all these issues, it would be interesting for the LDAC to develop a multi-annual work plan, because these issues and I would say key priorities need to be developed and approached in a longer term. And the LDAC, but of course, only if it is able to receive and grasp additional financial resources would usefully focus on these different issues and pillars along the years. And I think that it would be a really good contribution and efficient contribution to the EU ocean diplomacy that the EU Ocean Pact is underlying recently.